Hey YouTube, today I'm reaching out to everyone out there who's been wondering, what do I do when somebody drops out from my checkout page on Stripe? So something really cool happened and Stripe released a feature that allows people to capture the email address of those who end up getting to a checkout page but not completing the purchase. And this basically allows people to grab the email address of those customers who are located uh, in a geographical area such as the United States. Obviously, this feature does not work across all of the countries. I'm based in the US, so I'll show you how it works. And yeah, so let's get started. And I'll also talk about why it makes sense to do this. So most people they have some kind of e-commerce page and they they ask for people's email address prior to checkout. That is kind of annoying. You don't want to sign up before checking out. You might just want to check out, purchase something, and get their email address right there in the checkout page. But what happens is, as you can see, this email field here until today, until you do this change to your code, you don't get the email address unless people press and check out, right? They press the purchase button and they check out, then you get their email address. But what happens if they don't? What happens if something happens in their life? They have to go out, walk their dog, or their food is ready and they forget to check out. So this is where this comes in. So now I'll show you how it works. Okay, so this is the code. I use Python, but this works everywhere. So the first thing you do is you create your server side code, and what I'm doing here, I'm starting the app, the Stripe checkout sample code. So there's a route here called the create checkout session, which is a post for, it accepts a post method, sorry, and it's basically you set up the price of the item that you're checking out, and then what you do is this part here is really important. So first of all, you create this entry here called consent collection. You set it promotions to auto. Then I set the expiry of my checkout session to be 1 hour from now, which is the minimum amount of time that it takes for Stripe to say, yeah, this session has been abandoned, and therefore what happens is Stripe will then send you a webhook with the information of the checkout session that wasn't completed, including the email address. And then finally, you need to set this recovery enable to true to make sure that indeed you will get information that you need. All right, so here we are. I just run the code that I showed you a second ago. It's running on localhost 4242. I went to the checkout page that was set up. I have a nice dog here for $666. I press the checkout button. Stripe creates a checkout session for me, and it looks pretty normal, except that you will notice there is this tick box here that says, keep me updated with news and personalized offers. So if I type email@example.com and I go ahead and enter a credit card number that Stripe supports, and then let's assume that I um, I just drop off from this purchase. I don't click the purchase button here. I call it donate just for fun. What happens is I close this tab. What happens is that Stripe will, in 1 hour from now, see that I have basically expired from the session, and it will send me a webhook with the information that I've entered, the email address that I've entered into the checkout form, although I did not, and I repeat, I did not purchase that item. So let's have a look. What happens in 1 hour from now? All right, so 1 hour has passed. I'll show you what I did. Um, I set up a fake webhook endpoint. I then open this and I look at one of these session expired. So obviously Stripe retries multiple times when it failed. So it failed quite a few times because obviously I did not set this up properly, just as a demo. So let's pick one of these and let's look what's in the request, what's being sent to me. If I had a real endpoint, I would see that the session has expired. This was the URL to buy the the dog, in our case, the $666 dog, and then it will give me some more information. And then here, customer details, it will find like the emails that I've used throughout this demo. So I have this one. I used temporary email a little bit before this one when I abandoned the checkout without an email, and then I can see this one here. Um, let's see, where's my email address here? This one doesn't have it, so forget about that one. And then I'm trying to find the one where it was like email. There you go. Email at example.com. That's the other session that I had dropped out from. And the fun part is that all this information is simply available into a webhook, which you can just parse very quickly. And it will give you also the URL, like I said, of the checkout. So what you can do is you can take this URL, open like if you have an email um, life cycle kind of like process, you could parse this webhook here, take this URL and send it back to the email of the person, email at example.com, telling them, hey, click this button to continue your purchase. And as you will see, it's taking me back to this checkout page hosted on Stripe's platform. And yeah, so there are a couple of gotchas. Obviously, this thing with emails being sent as a webhook, you can end up in some kind of forever loop, right? So if a person opens the email, clicks on the link, gets to this page, and again forgets to submit, or again only partially compiles the checkout form, they might get you might get another webhook with similar information or the same information, and then it's up to you. It's the developer's job to create some kind of like email retry strategy. So I think the email retry strategy that most people do is you set a limit to how many emails you send, and then you increment the counter in your database. And if you send two attempt to recover the card, then you stop. It means that the user is probably not going to do it a third time. But that number can obviously vary depending on your use case. And maybe you have the phone number of the user, and then you want to send an SMS as the last attempt to recover the purchase here, the checkout. Hopefully that helps. Kind of give you an overview of what this new feature does. I think it's really powerful and it's very simple to do. All you gotta do is like parse a webhook and add a couple of lines of code to your existing implementation. All right, thank you.